included in bread production. However, 3 years after the president's launch, cassava bread is still very scarce in the market, despite the fact that Nigerians consume over 100 million loaves of bread daily.
I'm going to wait per kg, 1 kg.
Right now, bread bakers who want to produce cassava bread under the arrangement are expected to substitute 10% of the wheat flour content of bread with cassava flour.
This is cassava flour here. Okay.
The process, if not properly done, will produce a very bad bread. But for those who have researched it, it is a delight.
This is 20% cassava bread.
The head of Hotel and Catering Services at the International House of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, presents the bread on his menu every day, and no one has complained. With little effort and the right mix, he says the baker has nothing to fear.
People like the 40% bread also. Now today in our hotel, if you come in the morning breakfast, you get 10%, 20, 30, 40% bread of all the cassava products. With not only the bread, the sugar buns, there is croissant, there is donuts, there is rolls, there is sesame rolls, sesame buns. So huge products are here out there, and we sell among our users, our staff and their families.
And then we'll come and...
Meanwhile, researchers at the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, have been working on this for more than 30 years. It supplies its bread to the neighborhood and trains entrepreneurs frequently on the art of using cassava in confectionaries.
This is good bread, cassava bread, cassava bread. It's lovely, it's safe, it's nutritious, it's Nigerian. Thank you. How is it? There's no difference actually. We've done shelf life studies, off the shelf, no refrigeration, 5 days up.
Majority are saying that FIRO should make this a Nigerian project by asking for a legislation to foster the use of cassava in flour production. But FIRO says it is up to the millers to incorporate cassava flour to imported wheat flour. The institute is also seeking a legal backing to ensure the wheat millers include cassava in flour production.
Motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay.
In 2012, the House of Representatives rejected a bill seeking to make it mandatory for the inclusion of cassava in the production of all flour products in Nigeria, titled A Bill for an Act to Provide for the Mandatory Inclusion of Cassava in the Production of All Flour in Nigeria and for other matters connected therewith. The bill failed to pass second reading. The bill, which is an executive bill, had proposed that it was incumbent on the Parliament to enact a law that would make the inclusion in all flours compulsory, as it will not only be in line with President Goodluck Jonathan's initiative on cassava.
Those against, please say nay.
A People's Democratic Party member from Edo State, Mr. Peter Ede, who led the opposition against the bill, argued that compelling manufacturers of flour to include cassava would amount to compelling Nigerians to eat products that might be injurious to their health. He said 30 to 40% of Nigerians are diabetic, and it will be unfair to compel them to eat cassava products since most diabetic patients are barred from consuming foods such as cassava, a claim that FIRO vehemently denied.
That keeps recurring, it keeps coming in. It's like it's an attempt to pull down the cassava bread. And no, it does not increase the rate of diabetics. Cassava inclusion is a substitution. It doesn't change the percentage carbohydrate in your bread. When that story came up, so what we did here was to go out straight onto the field, and we did the in vivo glycemic index study of 0, 10, 20, up to 30% cassava inclusion in bread to find the GI of bread as bread, not cassava flour and wheat flour. So we did that for standard bread and also for the cassava bread of various inclusion in over 250 subjects. There hasn't been any increase in the GI of bread due to cassava inclusion. Rather, there was a slight decrease, which is very significant statistically.
Those taking note of the turn of events, meanwhile, are blaming wheat millers, saying their moves are unpatriotic and accusing them of placing corporate gains above national interests. They have been accused of lobbying the National Assembly in collaboration with the American wheat producers.
No, I can't imagine. No, I can't imagine they're doing that. In a sense, no, it just wouldn't make sense. I mean, when you gave me the questions, I asked the folks who are actually, as an attaché, I don't sell or do anything, so I just wanted to know what the ground truth. The wheat millers have supported the inclusion process, and so the only thing they've really asked the U.S. wheat suppliers to do is maybe help with education, technical support on how to include, because the inclusion of cassava flour changes the characteristic of the bread. How do you produce the products that consumers want?
So we decided to visit these wheat suppliers in the United States of America.
So if there's anything you need to know about these plots,
Farmers in Bardwell, Dallas, Texas, are meeting to see what the wheat season holds for them in terms of money in their pockets, with more concerns for countries like Nigeria having the crop at every demand.
varietytesting.com,
The weather hasn't been favorable for the growth of Nigeria's much-needed crop in some parts of America, and the price of exporting is about to hit a record high.
Nigeria is a very big customer for us. The last 2 previous years, they've been the #1 importer of hard red winter wheat, which is the primary crop for Texas. So definitely Nigeria is our #1 customer in that region. When we look at lower production levels, that's usually when we see that upturn in price. We see our price go up. Whenever we have a large or an average crop, we'll see the price go down.
This is the hard red winter class of wheat, the one mostly exported to Nigeria. Now, a bushel of this wheat, which makes up for about 60 pounds, which is interpreted to 27.125 kilograms, sells for about $5 to $6. At the Atbury Grain Company in Dallas, this intimidatingly high grain depot is housing the different types of grains produced in America, and that includes Nigeria's choices, the hard red winter grain. The choice for this type of wheat grain is perhaps due to its very rich nutritional value and taste. George Guganis is a U.S. miller. He's proud to associate with some Nigerian investors whom he says have visited the factory to place some orders.
The market volatility has really changed over the past 3 years. I think in as recently as 2 years ago, the market was really a lot stronger. Right now, I believe about $360, $370 a metric ton for U.S. hard wheat to be exported. In recent years, though, the market has had such volatility to it, tied to, again, world grain production and also world demand, supply and demand.
Back here in Nigeria, the figures we obtained from the Nigerian Customs Service indicates that wheat importation into the country between June 2012 and June 2014 is 9 million metric tons, valued at over 500 billion naira. This includes costs, insurance, and freight. The total duty paid during this period was 108.7 billion naira. On the table, there are 520 declarations of wheat import from the United States of America. This equals 60% of total importation. Canada followed with 91 declarations, Russia with 64, and Australia with 48 declarations. The top importers are flour mills of Nigeria with 393, Crown Flour with 104, and Honeywell with 35 declarations.